Vibe coding is a type of technology which is amazing, but so many things can go wrong as well. And so many things do go wrong. And it's very different if you're coding an app for yourself, it's still very different than a company. Like when someone builds an app for a company, even if it's for a small company, there's a lot more things that a company is responsible for.
Welcome to the Feria Techcast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Yaakov Sash, the former head of digital asset markets technology at Credit Suisse, and now the founder and CEO of CASSO.ai. Yaakov brings deep expertise in building high-stakes, high-trust systems across global financial institutions. At CASSO.ai, he is helping teams turn messy natural language into structured, validated requirements for AI-assisted software development, a process he calls vibe crafting. Today, we'll learn how Yaakov is bridging the gap between human intent and AI execution and what the future holds for developers, product teams, and the next generations of intelligent systems. So, Yaakov, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. So, let's dive in. Your career arc is fascinating. From building trading platforms at Merrill Lynch and Credit Suisse to now founding an AI startup. But what was the specific technical frustration or gap you observed in the current vibe coding trend that made you say we need a more rigorous approach?
So there's just so many things. It's like when you see like you're driving on the road and you see like a traffic like a pile up and there's like an accident and it's like, you know, and then, people look back at it and it's like, what went wrong here? Like, you know, there's so many things. People could be speeding. It could have been raining. It could be that the road wasn't well designed. Maybe sometimes the traffic intersection is not, you can't see, past the curve. So, or maybe there's just, a lot of things can go wrong. And that's what vibe coding is. Vibe coding is a type of technology which is amazing, right? I don't want anyone to think that I don't think vibe coding is amazing. It is. It's actually amazing. It can be addictive as well because you feel, especially when you first start vibe coding, like the power that you feel you have by just talking to an AI, and you can literally build apps. But so many things can go wrong as well, and so many things do go wrong. And it's very different if you're coding an app for yourself. Even if you want to publish it on the App Store and get lots and lots of users, it's still very different than a company. Like when someone builds an app for a company, even if it's for a small company, there's a lot more things that a company is responsible for, and there's a risk there when things go wrong. And that's what vibe coding doesn't take into account.
That's pretty interesting. So, Yaakov, you coined the term vibe crafting for our audience of engineers and technical professionals. How would you define this as a technical process? Is it a new methodology, a tool chain, or a fundamental shift in how we think about software specification?
It's a new shift. Basically, what it is that software, think of it like a sculpture, right? You can chisel out. You start with your block, with your whatever material you're using, granite, marble, right? And you have your chisel and you start banging away. So if you are a master sculptor, right? So the phrase is right is that you're not and you ask them what they're doing, is that they're taking away what's not there. They're actually chiseling away. They see in their head the sculpture. They see the finished product, and they know they have to bang away and chip away to expose that. And that's what crafting is. Crafting is like you have an architect, right, who knows software, they know systems, they know the business, right? They understand how everything goes together, and they understand what needs to get done. So they're crafting, right? They're building, but in the sense of a master craftsperson, rather than with the way we think of developers today as coders, right? You know, I have a function, I have to write this that does X and B, but that's not crafting, right? That's you're literally writing code. It's a different level. When you're crafting something, you're looking at you're looking at the full picture. It's looking at the what can go wrong, right? What is the goal of it, right? You're not just making a pretty, UI because you like to make a pretty UI. There's a function there. There's a purpose there. And so all this together is crafting. And the reason why that's the first step is because when you're crafting something, you really don't even have to code it, right? It's a purely descriptive level of about writing in terms of writing code. And the crafting phase can be a while because depending on how complex the system is, right? Um, it may take you a day to say, oh, this is how I want my system, my app to work. But it may take you a week. It may take you a year if it's a really, really complex. What if it's a software for a medical device, right? That is going to be doing a chemotherapy for cancer patients. So, you know, that's a very complex, type of software. Or even in the future, you could be vibe coding for a hardware device as well, right? The point is, though, is that you will be assisted by AI. We're not looking for humans to do work and this is fundamental, right? The the work has to be done in conjunction with AI at every step of the process. Not like today where we go to ChatGPT, we type in our prompt, we take it, and we do something and we go back. No, it has to be integrated with our workflow. And this is what crafting is. We're collaborating with AI to craft a new system.
All right. Yaakov, could you kindly tell us about what you are building at CASSO AI? How does it really work, and what value is it providing to customers?
Yeah, so with CASSO, we're building a platform that will allow developers or even non-developers to collaborate with AI, because that's the first step. If you can collaborate properly with AI, then the rest of the challenges become easier. But you have to start someplace where your your teamwork doesn't get lost. And we're still looking at, let's say, AI as not part of our team. We don't look at it as integrated. We look at it, oh, let me get something from AI, and I'll see if it works. But the truth is, we should be treating AI as another teammate, and we should be collaborating with AI properly. And we shouldn't be losing that information. That collaboration history is important because, again, we're working as a team, but other human beings as well. And with other AI agents as well. So it's more complex than just working with one AI, because one AI may say one thing, another AI may say something else. Your teammate, you may say something, your teammate may say something else. So all this has to be worked together, right? It's no longer the coding aspect is almost like an afterthought here. let's just agree on what we're doing first. Let's understand what the business requirements are. Like, what are the risks? What is, what is our um, unique selling proposition? USP, right? There's so many things that come into when you're building an app or system that you for a company that you have to figure that all out first. And now that's being done in separate meetings. It's being done offline. But no, Casso is going to integrate that. So everything is front and centered. Um, and you now have a place that has the full history of what you're doing, why you're doing it, with AI, with your fellow teammates, human and artificial, both everyone together in one place. And then now we have good business requirements, we can build out a functional specification, technical specification, and eventually running code. And now we have the full traceability because we started off from the right place, right? We started off capturing what we really want to do, and we thought about it, right? We didn't just start vibe coding, the second we thought of something. Oh, this is a great idea. We should add this button. No, let's think about it a little bit. Do we really need that button? What value does it add to the user? Maybe we don't need a button. Maybe we can automate it. And that's better, because why do we need to put a button when we can make it automatic? Or maybe our whole approach is wrong, right? Maybe it shouldn't be it should be a mobile app. Maybe it should be a web-based app. Maybe it should, and all these discussions and all these conversations, right? And when you work with a team, with AI, virtual humans together, our 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 what they say is that the sum is greater than the parts, right? It's going to be a much better seamless type of collaboration, and that in a nutshell is what Casso .ai is what we're doing.
Well, that's fascinating. So let's get technical a bit. So what does the stack for vibe crafting look like? Are we talking about fine-tuned LLMs or sophisticated parsing algorithms, or perhaps a new kind of structured data representation? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
That's a great question. So right now we're experimenting ourselves because there are different techniques that we're using. We're not sure which is the best approach yet for to scale. But we are looking at all these existing LLMs, like the top LLMs. We're also experimenting with our own private models as well. And perhaps at some point in the future, we will develop our own model, because the so the so the big foundational models, obviously ChatGPT, Claude, you know, Gemini, right? These are, they're putting billions of dollars into it, and that's great, and we will leverage that as much as possible. But they're focusing on the coding aspect. Obviously, they're focusing on different parts of LLM focus on different things. But in terms of coding, right, they're focusing on the coding aspect of it. They're not focusing on the collaboration, the AI collaboration. So we feel that that's a really great place for us to be. And potentially, we will leverage the foundational models, but at some point we may decide that if we can't get what we need, we may have to build our own. But it doesn't make sense to compete there to start with. So we will be leveraging them as much as possible.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you say that code is the easy part. So from your perspective, what is the most complex unsolved problem in translating human intent into a set of buildable, testable requirements that an AI can reliably execute?
So let me clarify. When I'm saying that it's the easy part, doesn't mean that today we can tell the AI to code something that it can be successful. Like it still has trouble with coding certain things. It actually can be quite deceptive. It can lie. You can claim that it did something and it didn't, which is really bad. But these are problems that can be fixed, right? We can see a trajectory from where we were a year ago till now is easily 10x. So we can see that, and we see that the AI coding models keep getting better. They're learning, right? Where it's not just that we are, that we're using them. As we use these tools, the tools are learning from us, right? And they're getting better and smarter. So we can easily go another 10x in the next year and the year after. We're looking at it over the next 5 years. My public prediction has been that humans are not coding in 5 years, right? It's just, it's a competition between a shovel and a tractor. So at some point, yeah, you may come in with a tractor to dig up the edges of a big system, but definitely for the 99% of the work, right, will be done um, by um, um, uh, by foundational AI, and the human developers will be doing other things, which we can get into. But in terms of in terms of what is easy and what's difficult, we see the coding part is going to be solved, right? It could take a little bit more time, but we're seeing there. What's more difficult is just telling the AI what you want. So human language is obviously going to be the new programming language. And that's fine. I don't think the AI will understand you, but we don't even understand ourselves. Like we don't know what we want, right? We have to, like we may say, I want X, but we may want Y. So just for us to understand ourselves better, and if you're in the enterprise, we have to understand our users better and what the business wants better. And what's going to be interesting is that if you give somebody a genie, right, you can say you could have whatever you want. Well, there's something called analysis paralysis, right? And they found that we have too many choices. Like you go on to Amazon, I can buy, whatever, a widget, right? And let's say there are 20 options. It takes you longer to decide what you want. So, and it's going to be that way too. It's going to be, but when, let me finish the analogy. If there are only 2 or 3 items, it's like, okay, it's easier to make that decision. So what's going to happen is that now when I'm building software systems, you usually build on there are components you use to build. And every component has some trade-offs, right? They're never perfectly aligned to what you need. But in the future, it's like everything could be custom, right? There's no reason that you need to do anything that's standard anymore. So that opens up the realm of possibility. And so that's going to be tough. It's going to be, say, what do you want to do? And it'll be like, I don't know, like, what can I do? Oh, you can do anything. Oh boy. So I think that's going to be challenging. Just that you have the ability to do whatever you want.
Oh, that's really insightful. So, for the developers and engineering managers listening, what is the first most actionable step they can take today to introduce more rigor into their AI assisted development process, even before using a tool like?
So unfortunately, CASSO doesn't exist yet. I mean, we're building it. So what you can do until CASSO exists is that you could build, basically plan everything. So do not vibe code, vibe craft. So, and you can do this today. You basically tell whatever tool you're using, you tell it, write you a plan. Plan it out, and then review the plan, revise the plan. But you don't revise the plan. Tell the AI, revise the plan, right? You don't want to be sitting there typing anymore. It takes too long to type. So tell the AI, oh, the plan's not good enough. Add this, change this. Did you think of this, right? Then, and this is where it gets fun, you go to a different AI. So I'm using Quad Code, I'm using Codex, I'm using Cursor. Cursor just came out with a CLI as well. Gemini, they all have models that work. And I like the models that work to the console better. I feel I have more control over it. So you work with those tools and you tell the other AI, review the plan. So now you not just one AI reviewing it, you and AI, you now have another AI reviewing the plan as well. And AI will come with feedback. Now you have two choices. You can tell the one AI, you fix it. Or you can go back to the original AI and say, hey, here's the feedback. Review the feedback. Tell me if you agree or not. So you're literally using them as coworkers, right? And you're developing the plan, you're improving the plan, and you're finding gaps in the plan. And what's interesting is that not only is the AI, finding flaws in each other's plans, but you will say, oh, neither of you thought of this extra, thing that I thought of. And so you keep adding to it. And you can be on another AI as well. Obviously, there's a point where it becomes, you have to stop planning and start executing. But this is definitely a balance, and we'll learn what that balance is over time. But I think in general, there's no harm in over planning. I feel that the more you plan it out, the better your code will ultimately be.
Oh,
But you have to be strict. Sorry, jumping back in. I want to point out something that, when you're planning, the AIs love to code. So they'll stick code, they'll jump ahead, they'll start adding in code into your plans. You have to, no, get rid of the code. I don't want code in my plans. So you have to be strict about it. And you have to make rules like Claude, there's a Claude MD file, and then every single platform has their own format. So you have to, and you have to maintain that. The point is, you have to set up rules, and you're in charge. You're the boss. You have to tell your AIs what you want them to do, and you have to be strict about it because they'll listen at first, and then they'll forget, and then you have to be on top of it.
okay. So, Yaakov, what do you think is the biggest misconception technically skilled engineers have about the capabilities and limitations of current AI code generation?
So it's funny. Either most developers think that it's really bad. Like they think the AIs write crap code. And the reason why that is because when they did their evaluation a year ago, it was pretty bad. They're now realizing that the bar has changed, and it's now has been raised. On the other hand, I personally get very upset because when you're working with AI a lot, you start to expect more from them. So like, why are you not like, things started off so wonderful. Like we had a great relationship. I was telling you what to do and you were just doing everything and there was no issues. And then all of a sudden, like lately, it's like whatever I tell you to do, there's issues. And usually the problem is you don't have a good architecture. You've gone to the point in your code where the architecture is now falling down, and the AI will not tell you that. So it's still not smart enough to realize when your architecture is not good. Like, and that's where the architects are so important because we still need the architects to guide us and to build proper systems with the right architecture. The AI can advise us, but it can't write code and build your architecture at the same time, right? It's not, it does one task. So if you tell it to design an architecture for you, it'll do it. Like you tell it what you want, but if you tell it to write code, it'll write the code. It'll just guess the architecture, and it'll start running, and it'll just start building stuff, and it may choose the wrong architecture. So that's where you have to be, careful. And like developers are working with AI, start to expect too much, and then when AI is fault, then they start blaming AI. It's getting dumber. It's not, it was much smarter when I first started. And so you have to take a step back and say, your application has gotten more complex. You obviously don't have the right architecture in place yet. And yes, the AI coding tools are not perfect. They're gonna, they're still learning. They're still getting better and better. So you may have to break down a project and give it to them piece by piece instead of giving them everything in one shot.
Amazing. So, I'd like to ask Yakov, for a technical founder who is about to start building a new product with AI, with an AI assistant. So, what is one piece of hardened advice that you would give to them about setting up their process from?
So the key point is test-driven development. So TDD. So in the past, a lot of developers have struggled to set up TDD because it just takes a lot of effort. But I think it's the only way to do AI coding from the start. And in a nutshell, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically that you set up your test cases first. And you set up your test cases first, and you make your AI fail. So write my test cases. Here are the specs. Write my test cases. Show me that they all fail. You want to verify that they fail. You want to do some spot checking too to make sure that your test cases make sense. I wouldn't say you have to verify everything, but you want to pick and choose like the high risk ones, right? But the fact that they fail is good, because what happens, then you tell the AI, write me the code so that my test cases pass. But you freeze the test cases. You do not allow the AI to modify the test cases. Because AIs have been known to lie and cheat, you then make that read only. Like you're literally like, you cannot, like, this system does not allow them to change it. Like, that's how strict you have to be here. And then you tell the AI, okay, write the code until the test cases pass. And you put the AI into a loop. You say, keep going. We have all the test cases. We have everything you need. Just keep running, keep writing the code, testing the code. You have unit tests. You have everything you need. Just, just keep it. You have to make sure you don't get into a loop and then you use up all your tokens. But that's a separate issue. The point, though, is that the AI will become responsible that the code is written properly, and you now have a solid, test framework that you can use in a continuous integration type environment. So this is key for anyone who's looking to start a new project, like an enterprise project, right? So, or even for an app, if you want to do an app properly, this is the right way to do it.
Okay, yeah, that's really insightful. So, I'd like to ask, what has been the most surprising technical challenge that you faced in building Castle AI that you didn't really anticipate from your prior experience?
So the biggest challenge is that I don't have Casso. It's like, when you see, like, you can envision utopia, and you're like, oh, I wish I had this platform. It would make it so much easier to develop Casso if I had Casso. So that's very frustrating. So even though I'm using the techniques I'm saying here to do planning and to do all these things, but the current tools are just so limited. It's like, I need Casso is going to be a chisel. I'm making a sculpture, and you can chisel away with a tiny little, whatever they call, like a tiny, like screwdriver type chisel, like the ones like the screwdrivers they use like to, it's for, let's say, eyeglasses, like the really little ones, and you could chisel away and the fine tuning. And all I have now is a sledgehammer. Like the tools that we have now are sledgehammers. So it just, it's frustrating, but you have to do what you have to do.
Okay. What does the word innovation truly mean to you and how it relates to your journey from architecting financial systems to pioneering a new paradigm for AI assisted development?
So I think the word innovation, people like to focus on the brilliant scientist who discovered something amazing, right? And yes, there are definitely brilliant people out there that discover things all the time. Um, but I think there's a lot more when you look at it from a collaboration standpoint. I think that the collaboration aspect of of uh, of its innovation, people look down on it like it's not as important or it's not as glamorous. But I think that everything, like I cannot have, invented Castle, because Castle is an invention, right? But without the people who've been toiling for decades to invent AI, like I wouldn't have, what we all can work on a finite set of problems. So everyone together, right, is working on different things and different problems, but together we can do so much more because we can build on each other's works, and we can collaborate together and just do so much more. And to me, I think that the Castle platform, the key thing that it's going to unlock is the collaboration that we don't do today. Even software engineers today do very little collaboration. Everyone's focusing on their own little, like you have to write code, you have to write, the focus is on the code. But in the future, the focus is going to be on the overall system. What do we want the system to do? Less on the code. AI is writing the code. Just work together with your colleagues. What do you want the system to do? How do you want it to work? What's the best way to get from point A to point B? And that's all that it will be, collaborative. And working with AI as well. We will be able to do so much innovation with the power of AI, with the human guidance of that power working together. We will be able to do so much more that we can ever do alone.
Okay, that's insightful, Yaakov. So finally, for our listeners who are builders and want to learn more about vibe crafting and Castle AI, so where's the best place for this?
So definitely check out our website, CASSO.ai. We have some videos up there, some articles. We have some podcasts. We'll put this one up as well. We have, so the platform is not live yet, but definitely sign up for the early access. And if you are a company we're looking for companies to do pilots with us. So early pilots. So if you're interested, definitely drop us a line. We can use the same a sign up form and just put into the comments that you're interested in a pilot program. So we there's there's so much that 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 we have the potential in doing, And anyone who's in this space that is already vibe coding, you understand what the limitations are. And I know that this is something that you'd be very, very, very thrilled to get on, to get the early access and be a step ahead of the rest of the world.
Oh, great. Wonderful. So, Jakob, what if maybe there is someone in our audience that wants to reach out or maybe ask some questions or just get to learn more about you and your work? Where can they?
So I am on LinkedIn as well. My name Yaakov Sash, so you can check me out. We also have a CASSO .ai is on LinkedIn as well. Definitely, connect and follow, and feel free to send me questions. You also can email me as well at yakov.sash@casso.ai. So please, anything, we love to engage with people that are in the field, that are vibe crafting, vibe coding, or even if you're scared to, and you love to learn more, please feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, that's great. Yakov, it's been a wonderful and insightful conversation with you, and I am excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.